Over the past 30 years, Choice has had an amazing impact on the lives of thousands of villagers in various countries in the world. One of the challenges we've had at Choice is keeping a record of all the activity and all of that impact that we've had in terms of projects, the expeditions that have happened, the surveys that record how a family progresses through an exit from a life of an extreme poverty. What I'm going to show you here is a mobile app that we've developed for Choice regional field staff to use. So as a Choice regional staff member is in a village working with villagers directly, they can launch this app and they can start to record the activities that they're doing. And whenever they use the app, anything they save here is put in a central repository. It's actually a cloud service based on Office 365, and it gets recorded forever for Choice to use. So I'm going to show you an example. A village came up for Bolivia to start with, but I'll just switch it over to Mexico. Here's the Acambay region and the Acambay region, Datina village. I'll switch that over to Guanajuato and the La Concha village. You can see we're tracking a family here called De Silva. Can create another family here. Let's say that there's a Lopez family in the village. Let's go ahead and save that. Now the Lopez family shows up. If we click over on Lopez, it brings up the members of that family. I hit plus again, and now I can enter in Mario. Let's say that he's the father of the family. And of course, gender is male. Say he was born in 1975. Has a high school education and works as an artisan skilled labor. Great, so as I'm out in the field working with Mario, I just go ahead and record this information about him. Now let's say that we're with Mario Lopez and we're going to do the first project with him, which is typically a cistern. I'll click on the projects button here. It will show us all the projects we've recorded for this Lopez family. Since it's a new family, we haven't recorded any yet. I hit the plus button. We can now decide we're going to do a cistern project. That is a coping with poverty type of project, and it produces $0 of annual income. Hit the checkbox. What's happening now is that cistern project has been recorded in our cloud service, and now we know a few things about the Lopez. After a couple years, let's say it's time to do a survey to see how things are going, so we'll click the survey button. This will show us all the surveys that we've been conducting with this family over the years to see how things have progressed. I'll hit plus again. Let's say that Jose is the interviewer and his code is 454, and that he's doing the interview today, November 9th. We have a series of questions that come from the survey instrument, how happy to consider yourself, and so on. I'll just leave some default values in there because we're going to delete this later. We can also talk about the basic services that are provided on a scale from 1 to 4. How are these things answered in the survey? When we're done, there are a few more pages, but for the sake of this demo, we'll just complete the survey now. We hit submit. Now all that information that we are tracking to see how on an aggregate we're doing with all the thousands of families that we serve is stored up in our cloud service. And now we have the Lopez family survey results from today. If I go back then, I can see the Lopez family, go back one more time, and I'm back at the La Concha village. We could repeat this process with the De Silvas, any other families we come across. We can also record information about the programs and expeditions that take place at La Concha. In the interest of time, I won't click you through those, but it's the same idea. So with that, gives you an idea of what we have available on anyone's phone or tablet. It can be Apple or Google or Android, doesn't matter. In fact, you can even log into a website, powerapps.com, sign in with your Choice credentials, and be able to enter this information from a web browser as well. So that'll be useful when someone of the staff members is out at a village that doesn't have internet access, can write down the survey results on a piece of paper, come back to the office, and enter it into the system. Let me show you really quick. If we pull up a PowerPoint here, we can open up the project data model here. This is a slide that shows me see if I can full screen it. The way the system works in the countries, Mexico, Bolivia, Nepal, etc., you have the data being entered from the regional staff's phones and computers. That gets sent up to the Office 365 cloud where it's stored. From Office 365, we can export it into spreadsheets or other databases if we need to. But it's backed up there. It's kept live all the time. We then have the Domo service is able to pull the information out of Office 365 and then perform calculations on it. So if we wanted to know what's the total number of villagers that we're serving, it can query that out of Office 365 and produce a chart about it. Or what's the total annual income from economic development projects in the region of Acambay, Mexico? Could answer questions like that through the Domo service and through the dashboarding provided there. So the cool thing is, in West Jordan, where Choice headquarters is, or wherever a board member may be, they can sign into Domo, they can see all the data that's been entered, and in all the remote locations where these villages exist, the Choice staff is able to enter the data. Over time, as this builds up, we'll get a more and more rich sense of what's going on. We can use this information to drive all sorts of things. We can provide it as evidence when we're working with other foundations. We can use it to drive engagement on expeditions. Really a lot of different great ways to use the data. But the point is we now have a system where we can make it easy to gather and centrally collect this data. So with that is the demo, and thank you very much.